Hello, sir. How are you?
Hello, hello, hello. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. How is your weekend? How's your week been? It's almost the end of the week. It's crazy.
I know, right? It's been a little bit crazy. Last night got to go to my friend's house for his birthday, and they gave us a Filipino style feast where it was banana leaves on top of the table and then all the food. And so there was like a billion different types of meat, and I ate until I got sleepy and then had coffee and ate some more.
That sounds like the best day ever.
It was pretty
It really
amazing.
does.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
thoroughly
what now?
I said I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was fantastic.
Yeah, my week has been far less exciting, so not much going on. Last weekend was exciting though because it felt like second Christmas. It was like the trifecta of all these board games from Kickstarter, and I won a game from a podcast. Shout out to Family Gamers podcast. They're really awesome folks, the Smith family. So check them out, Family Gamers online. And so I won a game called Baseball Dice from them. That was really fun. I got that on Friday, so we played that. And then Saturday, Aaron, can you hand me Sonar? So Saturday, I walk into. Thank you. Look at that. So I walk into Target with the kids, and this is sitting on the shelf. Sonar. If you don't know about what Sonar is, it's basically like Captain Sonar's the original game. Rick, me and you saw this over at Atlanta Game Fest last October when we went. There were tons of people playing this game. It's really fun. The problem with Captain Sonar is that you need 8 players to play it. You need 4 people on each side. It's kind of like Battleship on steroids. Well, with Sonar, you only need 4 people to play it, which is fantastic. That's very doable for our family of 5. There was no way that we would ever get Captain Sonar, just because when do we have 8 people sitting around the house and being like, yeah, let's play a game right now, you know? You really have to plan for something like that. We've played Sonar a couple times just in the past couple of days. It's a lot of fun. It reminds me of of Battleship trying to find where the people are at, but it doesn't stink. It's actually a lot of fun because there's some strategy in how you move, and each player has their role, and you're conversing about what to do. It's really fun. Have you played Captain Sonar at all?
I have not, but I have been interested in it. I often, there's a few games out there that are kind of the co-op competitive, where you're working in teams up against each other. And I have owned several in the past. I owned Space Cadets, and I owned Space Cadets Dice Duel, and a couple others. And I've always ended up trading them because I can never. Those games are so complicated that it would take you 45 minutes to an hour to explain it, and then you play it one time. Like my gaming group is not consistent enough to be able to do something like that. So yeah, with something like Sonar, where hopefully the learning curve goes down a little bit and maybe it requires fewer people, I think that would be hitting that sweet spot I'm trying to hit, because that idea sounds fantastic to me of working together in teams, but that's something
One
I
thing that
enjoy.
being a pitch person for Sonar, obviously, one thing that I enjoyed about it, I was kind of worried about it, honestly. When I bought the game, I got it because when we went to Target, the game was marked for $13 over on a clearance shelf, which this game is not $13. It is far more than $13. And so the fact that I got it for 13 bucks was incredible. Great value. Anyway, the book that's it. That's all there is. And some of the games that we own now and some of the games that we're into, man, there's giant rule books, and it takes forever to really understand and grasp the rules. And so when I opened Sonar and saw that it was so small, and I was like, man, this is going to be easy to teach. That's exactly what it was. We played twice this past weekend, and I was able to teach people really fast, and they got a hold of it really fast. And I think one of my mistakes the second time I played was it was me and our youngest daughter, who's 9. we're playing on one side, and we're playing opposite Josh. You know Josh, Rick, and another guy, Josh's brother-in-law, who actually does tracking and navigation for the military. So that did not work in our favor. Me and the 9-year-old against the teacher, school teacher, and the military person did not do very well.
You know, that sometimes you just are set up to lose. You can't help it. I do like how the guy on the cover of the box is holding up how many people he needs in order to play the game. I need 3 more people. 3.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what he's saying. And why is his mouth so open?
I don't know. It kind of makes you want to just stick your finger right in his mouth, at least for me.
That's awkward. That's good stuff. So got Sonar on Saturday, and then Stop Thief came in. Our Kickstarter version of Stop Thief showed up at our doorstep on Saturday as I was unpackaging Sonar. So I got to see Stop Thief. This is, if you go on to oneboardfamily.com right now, you can check out the review for Stop Thief, because we played it so much this week that I was able to do a review very confidently.
How high-pitched giggle did you have when that arrived on the doorstep?
Oh, I got pretty freaking excited. In fact, I got the box and I was like, maybe I should wait for people to look at me when I open the box, because I know what this is. And I just want people to see how high-pitched of a squeal I can get to.
Yeah. A weird this thing going on. It's like, oh my God, it's here, it's here, it's here.
That's exactly right. And then, of course, the weekend rounded out with us getting the games that we bought on the 40% off day on Amazon on Sunday. So that was pretty cool. Have all these new games show up and try to fit them all into our schedule. Anyway.
And your shelf.
So. What now?
And your shelf.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the shelf is struggling. Yeah, the shelves are struggling. So
that's gonna happen one day during one of these episodes. You're just gonna hear a giant collapse, and you'll be like, "I think I need to end the episode right now."
I think we're done. Sorry about that. So.
There's pieces everywhere.
Why are there so many meeples?
All those posts on like the board game group where it's like, where do you think this piece came from? You're gonna have one of your own where it's like, where do you think these 47 pieces came from? I don't know where they go.
Where does this pile belong? So yeah. Rick, tell me about some gaming that you've been doing, or a game that you're really digging right now.
You and I both kind of had, I guess it was the week before your week of purchase awesomeness, where Target had Santorini go on sale, which has been a fairly popular 2-player game. We saw it at Atlanta Game Fest as well, and it's hard to come by and kind of expensive. And I've wanted it, and a couple times come close to pulling the trigger on an expensive version of the game, but then Target, their version was $20 and was released in kind of a shady way, I guess, not shady, but very suspicious way online. The picture they had was of like, it looked like a rug. It didn't even look like the game. But everybody was saying it was working. So I put down $20 and went and picked it up and played my friend Adrian in it the other day. And it's a really good, I know a lot of people say like chess-like to describe games often, but this one I think is quite chess-like, where you have to keep in mind, you know, it's a 2-player game. You're building buildings as you go along. You have 2 characters, and you have to try to end up with your character on the 3rd story of a building. That's how you win, or trapping the other characters. And so you're having to think about your move and their moves, and keep 2 players in mind, and you know what buildings are going on around you. So it works pretty well, and we really had a good time with it.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Santorini, we got a hold of it the same week that you did. Actually, I think the same day. I think you messaged me, and I was like, I'm going to pick up my copy right now. So we also ordered it through Target.com, showed up at the store, $19.99, which was fantastic deal, especially for a game that I think if you look on Amazon at the week that I got it, it was like over $100 on Amazon. Because it just that I think the fact that they went into production after that first run and went into production for more of a mass market, it kind of held things up, and they ended up not, it became rare until it showed up on Target, which was very shocking for a general consumer. But yeah, so I don't know. If you've only played a 2-player, I think that's where it's really strong. Santorini is an amazing 2-player game, probably one of my top 5 2-player games I've ever played in my life. The problem is that there are rules. It says, yes, this game is built for 2 players, but you can also play 3 and 4 players. I played it at 4 players once, and I did not like it at all. I didn't know. Have you tried it at 4 players? Because I've heard mixed results. I've heard some people who don't like it, and some people who are like, oh yeah, it's fantastic.
I have not, and judging by your decision, I might not do it myself. But yeah, I think it probably loses some of that headiness with more people. I enjoy a good thinking game. I enjoy sitting back and not having to think at all at times, but to really sit down and have to get into a game and get into all the different moves and possibilities and be able to crunch numbers and moves and things like that, I really enjoy that kind of experience, and I got to have that with the 2-player version. So probably just stick with that. I've got plenty of other 3 and 4 player games that I think would probably work better that I'll play if I've got more people.
Yeah. I think what I had a problem with was that at the 3 and 4 player, they tell you to use the God cards. The God cards give you different abilities. And the night that we played, we had the God cards that we had. Basically, I had the ability to build a second story anytime I built a first story, which is great. The partner that I was working with had the ability to build a second time or maybe move a second time, I think. And then the other team had the ability, one of the people on the other team had the ability to, if she moves up a level, your opponent is not allowed to move up a level. So essentially, her teammate was setting her up so that she can move up a level. Then our team was not allowed to move up a level. Then he would set her up to move up a level, and it was just completely broken. Like I felt like there's no possible way that we could win this game. And sure enough, we lost like probably 5 turns in.
Yeah,
it was really bad.
They've got some combos that they highly suggest you not use. And I don't know, like I haven't looked at the God cards yet because I don't know, this is going to sound so cheesy, but it's like, I like the pure experience without the God cards. I know that they have a additional element to get you thinking about it, but it feels like it gets you so overpowered, possibly. Like, I don't know. I'll probably try the God cards at some point, but I probably would just generally stick with the regular chat. I mean, it's a good game by itself, so it's kind of like when you get those expansions for games and you're like, I don't think we needed these. This game was fine. It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Another game we've been playing a lot recently. So one of my favorite gaming blogs is Shut Up and Sit Down, and they did a blog about how to start your gaming collection for under $10. And one of the things they pointed out was dice games, just games using dice. We might generally think of Yahtzee, but there's other things like Tenzi and Farkle and other games like that. And the one that we've been playing a lot is Liars Dice. Every time we mention it, people are like, "You mean that thing from Pirates of the Caribbean?" And I'm like, I don't remember anything about that movie. And so it is true that is what it is. It is part of that movie, but basically everybody gets a cup with 5 dice. You roll them on the table, and then you go around betting how many of a certain number you think there are, increasing your bet each time you get to a person until one's called a liar, and then everybody else votes on whether they think it's a lie or the truth, and you lose dice if you're wrong. And it sounds basic, and every time we've played, first couple of turns, people are like, this is okay, like this is kind of fun, I guess. But then you get into There's always like one round that kicks it off. So we played last night after eating an insane amount of Filipino food, and there was a moment where the girl that was next to me called 11 threes or something like that. And, me being a math teacher, I'm like, probability says that is the stupidest thing you could have said. And so everybody voted no. And then we revealed it, and she had the 11. And so we're all like, no way! This is crazy! And so everybody loses a die except for her. And then that's when everybody kind of was really starting the conversations, kind of laughing, challenging people and stuff like that, and it gets really good after a while.
Yeah, those crazy dice probabilities make me think about at the beginning of the year we had some people over for New Year's Day. We had kind of a gaming session for our neighbors and some friends, and one of our friends, Alicia, she learned how to play what was it? King of Tokyo for the first time. And so I'm sitting there watching my neighbors and some friends playing King of Tokyo, and they're having a good time. And she rolls a couple claws, and I'm like, oh man, Alicia's doing really good. And then the next thing you know, she has rolled every single dice on the table as a claw. And the probability of it was ridiculous. And the fact that like it took, I think, 3 people out of the game, so half the players at the table were thrown out of the game. I'm sitting there, I'm like, this is amazing. So yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch that.
Yeah, and one thing I like about Liar's Dice, like we played with 9 people, so you start with 45 dice, and at that point it's just a basic probability game of, does it make sense for this to work? But then the game completely changes as you get to fewer people, because you get to 10 dice, and at that point you truly are lying. Like, who cares if you're lying at 45? I mean, there's some manipulation with bluffing you can do, but when you get down to 10, it truly becomes a bluffing game of like, do they have what they're saying they have? Are they just trying to throw me off? And things like that. Every time that we've played so far, the last 2 people in the game have been married couples. And so they end up going head to head up against each other, and it's been hilarious every time. And so it's a game that it's hard to find some games that work for like 10 people, like for the first time. There's a few out there, but like this one, it's a party that's not necessarily there for games. We can get started within 3 minutes, and it's fun. I bought a bag of dice, 100 dice for $15. We've played 4 times and had a fantastic time each time. So I've loved it. I'm glad we decided to give it a shot.
That's awesome. Very cool. Let's point out some new stuff on the website. If anybody watching has not been over to oneboardfamily.com recently, we have a couple posts that you might be interested in. Rick, you wrote one about 5 reasons to game with your significant other. I wrote one about 5 reasons to game with your family, and both of those posts, man, have been going crazy. I mean, thousands of visitors at this point, which is really, really cool to see people connect with something that we've written, people sharing it with people that they care about. And then we've also got some reviews. Obviously, I did the Stop Thief review this week because it is a fantastic game. Just a heads up, if you don't like deduction games, this will not change your mind. Don't go in saying, oh, I should spend this money on this game. I hate deduction games. No, it's not going to change your mind. I asked somebody today at work, I was like, hey, when we played Stop Thief, was that something that you enjoyed? He was like, I don't like deduction games now. I was like, oh, okay, that's why. Just like anything, if you don't like the genre, or if you don't like, most of the time you're not going to be convinced by a really great version of that. And then you've got 2 reviews. We're going to be publishing one of the reviews tomorrow, and then you have one that went up on Monday. Why don't you tell us a little about those?
Yeah, our collection has a lot of games in it, and some of the smaller ones, don't get a lot of love sometimes, but wanted to let people know about Lanterns, what we like to call the Rapunzel game, or the Tangled game. which we posted recently, and then Circus Flicati, which has the most bizarre artwork of any game I've ever played, and freaks people out when they first see it. But we've had a lot of love to it. It's our, I think, third most played game for me. So, Escape is our number one and Codename's number two. So some that we love a lot, but Circus Flicati gets a lot of gameplay. And so I wanted to let people know about it. Things that are under $20 that you can play several times, I think those are great values and great additions that you can't really go wrong. So yeah, those are things that are coming up.
Really cool. Awesome. So we'll be publishing the Circus game hopefully Friday. So you guys check that out. And there's 3 new games that you get to check up on and see if it's something that would fit your family or your lifestyle or the people that you game with. So really cool. Awesome, Rick. Well, you have a great weekend. Do you have any plans of playing anything?
I'm not. Well, we have another big gathering on Saturday with folks that I worked at summer camp with for like 4 or 5 years in a row. They're all going to come and hang out. So we'll probably play some Liars Dice at least. And maybe squeeze in a few extra things here and there.
Awesome. Very cool. I'm hoping to play some more Photosynthesis. It's a new game from Blue Orange Games. It was a huge hit at Gen Con, and I ended up grabbing it off of Amazon. It dropped in price really fast and then went back up in price, and I got it right in that little window, which was pretty cool. So I grabbed Photosynthesis. It's a brand new game from Blue Orange Games. Aaron and I played it last night. It is fantastic. It's beautiful, and I'll probably be working on a review for it later, probably beginning of September. So it's really incredible. It's a cool game. So
we've got to get you a better shelving system / we got to get rid of your buy now with one click option, because you're going to end up buried, and I'm going to be really worried about you, Ryan. I'm going to be very concerned.
You don't hear from me for like a week. I've got meeples in my mouth, and I'm under just piles of cardboard. So
we decided we need to invest all our money in cardboard. We don't have any money in the bank anymore. It's all in cardboard.
Oh, that sounds like I've got a problem.
Well, we all do.
All right, man. Yeah, we really do. So, all right, man. Have fun and enjoy playing those games.
We'll do. Adios.